This story takes place in a forgotten corner of Virginia, USA. A village so small, you wouldn't even find it on most maps. The villagers lived in silence, but there was one place they never went near. At the edge of the woods stood a house. Old, abandoned. The windows broken, the roof collapsing, and yet every night, lights flickered inside. Sometimes people swore they heard the faint sound of a child laughing. No one dared to enter. No one, except for two young men, Tom and David. They didn't believe in ghost stories. They thought it was all just small-town superstition. But they were wrong. So very wrong. The storm that night was violent. Rain lashed down in sheets as the two friends arrived at the house, flashlights in hand. The front door loomed before them, and when Tom pushed it open, it groaned and screamed like a dying animal. A wave of cold air swept over them. It smelled of rot, of mold, and something else, something metallic. Inside, the air was heavy. The walls were lined with faded wallpaper peeling away in long strips. But what unsettled them most were the paintings, portraits of a family that once lived there. A mother, a father, and a little girl. The faces seemed normal at first, until the light caught their eyes. They glowed faintly, watching, always watching. In the living room stood an old piano, its surface covered in dust, untouched for decades. Tom brushed his fingers across the keys, and suddenly, one note rang out. High, sharp, haunting. Neither of them had touched it. David whispered, his voice shaking, "This isn't funny." They moved deeper inside. In the next room, toys littered the floor. A ball, a teddy bear, and in the center, a doll. It sat upright in a wooden chair, head tilted to one side. Its porcelain face was cracked, one eye missing, the other eye staring right at them. And then, as if alive, the doll's head turned slowly. Tom's flashlight flickered. David grabbed his arm. "Did you see that? Did you hear that?" But the only reply was the sound of footsteps. Footsteps upstairs. They climbed the staircase, each step groaning beneath their weight. At the top was a corridor, long, endless, doors on either side. The air was colder here. Their breath misted in front of their faces. And then one door slammed shut, a violent, deafening crash. From the walls came whispers, dozens of voices overlapping, impossible to ignore. "Go back. You should not be here. She's waiting." The friends pressed on. The corridor seemed to stretch longer with every step. The house was changing around them, twisting, shifting, trapping them inside. At the very end, they found a bedroom. The curtains torn, the bed collapsed, and leaning against the wall was a tall mirror, cracked down the middle. They shined their light at it and froze. In the broken glass stood a little girl. Her dress was white, torn and stained, her face pale, her eyes black. Endless, empty black. Slowly she stepped forward, out of the mirror, into the room with them. David stumbled back, screaming. Tom dropped the flashlight. The beam rolled across the floor, leaving them in near darkness. The girl whispered, her voice soft and broken, "I've been waiting so long for you." And then she screamed, a sound so loud it rattled the entire house. The windows shattered inward, the door slammed shut. They were trapped. Tom reached for David, but his friend was gone, vanished. The room was empty, except for him and her. On the wall, words appeared, letters forming, written in dripping red, "You are not alone." Tom backed away, heart pounding until he tripped. He landed hard on the floor, gasping for breath. Above him, the girl loomed, her black eyes staring, her mouth opened, far too wide, stretching unnaturally. He shut his eyes, praying for it to end, and then silence. When he opened them again, he was alone. The girl was gone. The room was empty. But David had never returned. Later, the villagers spoke of the house. They said the girl was real. 50 years ago, she had disappeared inside those walls. Some say her parents trapped her there. Others say something darker had claimed her soul. Every few decades, someone enters, and every time, the house takes another victim. The spirit of the girl hungers for company, for friends, for anyone foolish enough to step inside. And so the house still stands, at the edge of the village, windows shattered, roof collapsing. But at night, the lights still flicker. And if you listen closely, you will hear it, the sound of a child laughing. They say the house is waiting, always waiting, for its next visitor. And those who enter never leave.
Hello, we are excited to show you our native speech capabilities.
Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more.
Edit these placeholders to get started.